shouldn't think that everything's coming on roses, but you can see the weeds that entangle your feet. You can see the wood for the trees, 'cause the forest is burning. And you say it's the smoke in your eyes that's making you cry.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Ferra Castra Campers. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's what we're sticking with. If you look up the meaning, it's Latin, you'll discover it there. Anyway, back again for another overnighter. Different spot, slightly different spot, with a few different challenges. Initially it was going to be whatever we could carry in one go from the car. However, we brought a few more bits of equipment, the same hammock setups, but in a slightly different spot, a little bit more remote. A couple of little surprises food-wise. We'll attempt to cook a whole chicken in an underground oven. They've got different names: Dakota fire pits, a Yukon oven. We're just going to go with a simple underground oven. So we brought a couple of things to help us do it. I use shovel. But we're putting everything back once we've finished. Cover it with leaf litter. That's one for you for Joe Robinette, leaf litter. And we'll see how we go. Forecast is probably to get down to about 0 tonight, maybe close to it. We might freeze. There's a weather system blowing in from the south, so it's going to be dry today and overnight. It's not due to until 9 o'clock, and hopefully we'll be packed up by then. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and hopefully you'll have a good one. Cheers. Okay, the fire pit's done. It's been dug out. We'll fill it back in when we go. We've got ourselves a little windbreak just here. I have birch bark and some rotten logs just to protect the fire from the prevailing wind coming across the valley. Loads of dead standing split, loads of silver birch, a bit punky, so we're just drying it out a little bit. And some ash that I brought, and a lot of oak from a fallen branch, a massive oak tree just up on the top of the rise, just over there. You can see it, huge thing. That's really well seasoned. Obviously we've selected this boulder as a bit of a fire break or heat reflector, and that should do the trick and protect from the wind as well. And then we'll get the grill on, get some food on, get a spit made, and get the chicken on the go. Should be fun, dabby dozy. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So here we are. Camp's all set up at the bend in the river. Taking a bit of inspiration today from Carlisle 195's riverbank camp. You can see there's a bit of a beach over that way. Good water source, really nice and clean. I'll boil it up anyway. We've had our keg sitting in a beer weir just down there in one of the eddies, keeping nice and cold. Stu's just making a bit of a tripod now just to hang the keg from, with a bit of a shelf with a couple of twigs and a bit of paracord. Here's the camp, all set up. Made a windbreak on this side with some old rotten logs and some large pieces of birch bark just to block the wind out a little bit and shield it from this side. And then here we've got a piece of resistance to show you where the magic happens. Just in here we've laid some terracotta pipe, some old piping, and laid it straight inside into the middle of the fire pit. It's going great guns. I'm going to cook a spatchcock chicken on there later and a few other things. Plenty of dry dead standing, all processed. Got the grill, smaller bits, and for here some really dry, well seasoned, air dried oak that we'll put a long fire with later. Built next to this boulder with a bit of a heat reflector. It's throwing it right back at us. It's quite big, you probably can't see it really on this camera. It's huge. And then obviously the bashes are all set up. Bags are all nicely lofted. Got the old under blanket on. That's lofted up really well. Sleeping bag and the good old military mark Dutch Army sleeping bag booties. I'll be wearing them later. So we'll come back later when we've got some food to go and a few beers. Probably a good time to mention Meadsy. Can't be with us today. It's a shame. I kind of lost my double act with him. We do bounce off each other. There's a bit of magic on screen when he's here. But that's the next camp. That's the one we remind you about. Think Batman. Those dates are already booked in now. I'll be showing that video later. It's just a quick impromptu one. Decided to do. Get away from it all. I'll just have a general chill out in these glorious woods. I'll catch you later. Here we go. The bush bar is officially open. Keg of Wainwrights on a tripod. You can't get much better than that. Belting. Okay, we're back. We've spatchcocked the chicken, we got on the grill. We're using the Bushcraft bar tripod that we used before because we're running out of beer. We're on the whiskey and we've got some wine. We've got a long fire going with some primo air dried dead oak. It's giving off plenty of heat, it's just right. I've seasoned it with a bit of molten sea salt. Unfortunately, there's no wood sorrel out of the money yet, otherwise I'd use some of that. So we're going to slowly cook that over the fire. The chicken fat should baste the fire, get it nice and going. And everything's golden. Everything is absolutely golden. So far, so good. Fire's going nicely. Food on the go. Job's a good one. Can't wait. Here we go. Got a long fire going. It's great. The rocks are throwing out rolls of heat. Chickens on the go. Fan-dabby dozy. Look at that. Throwing out a good amount of heat now. The rocks are really soaking the heat up and radiating the heat. Fat from the chickens dripping off the fire, keeping that going. The cord from the paracord that we taken out, or Stu's taken out at the inner, is doing really, really well. We're cooking on wood. Food meets fire. Fantastic. In the woods, can't beat it. Spatchcock chicken and molten sea salt. That's all it takes. Bit of rosemary wouldn't go amiss, but you can't have everything, can you? Here we go, guys. Chicken licking. Chicken licking. So the fire's going really well. We've got a long fire going. Chopped down another dead standing oak. It was a widowmaker, so it had to come down anyway. Better we take it down and well, it comes down on a camper or on us. It's quite close to the shelter. Bashes, so decided to take it away. It's a really, really long, thick seasoned oak, so it's keeping us warm. Despite this 40-mile-an-hour wind that's blowing in through the camp at the minute. It was blowing from south to north, and it's just suddenly changed direction. It's going from east to west. It's going straight through the bashes, but we'll be alright. The fire's really, really nice and warm anyway. We've got loads of it. Just to keep us warm while we watch the film.
Turns out I found a stealer.
And then I'll get in the scratcher, which will be nice. Do you want a few whiskies?
What the fuck have you done to him?
Nothing. Only tried to help him. He's got retrograde
Yeah,
amnesia.
cool.
No, we knew from...
So guys, it's about midnight. Stu turning in. The long fire has done its thing. Still doing its thing. It's nice and warm. I've got the grill on, just burn off the rest of the chicken fat. Stu's turned in. I've got a little bit of Jameson's left. I might cut myself a burger actually. I've got like 8 brioche buns and 4 baguettes. A lot of sausages and some burgers. I ain't even touched them yet. We've just been cooking off the chicken, so I might wait for the fire to go down and cook a burger. Just a bit of a midnight snack. And then I'll turn in. Got a time-lapse video going all night. So we'll post it up on the channel. Just so you can see us through the evening. It's been a really good camp. A really good camp. Windy. Wow. 40-mile-an-hour winds have been flowing through this campsite. The wind from my old army days is oblique, which means it's blowing bloody which way anyway. Originally it was coming from south to the north, and that's why we pitched our hammocks the way we did, and it's just been swirling around and blowing north, south, all over the place. You can probably pick it up on the sound of it. We've had a special delivery from the RAF and some F-22 Raptors. They came through so quick I never managed to get any footage of them, but hopefully they'll come through on the next video, which is the Batcave video. where the back cave is. It's a special valley, and it's just tailor-made for jet fighters. Anyway, I'm going to wait for these embers to die down a little bit, and then I'm going to get a burger on, I think. Yeah, get a burger on, and I'm back for my supper. Hopefully I don't wake Stu in his basher. He's quite close to mine, and I'm looking forward to a really good night's kip, actually. Put the old wax earplugs in, as I always take them with me everywhere I go, because you never know who you can be with. Some people snore, some people don't. But here it's quite windy, and the sway of the hammock, your earplugs in, you're lost in your own thoughts. It just makes for a good night's kip. So I'll see you in the morning. Unless next video is me cooking a burger, which means that I'm really hungry. Good night. Morning. Really good kid. Really good sleep. You did? Really good kid. It's raining outside. Time to get up with everyone. Make some food on, pack up and go. I'll join you in a bit.
You shouldn't think that everything's coming on roses, but you can see the weeds that entangle your feet.